Good morning from beautiful Brisbane, Australia, and welcome to Healing from Complex PTSD TV. My name's Linda. I am your certified complex trauma recovery coach and educator, and welcome back to the channel, and thank you everybody who's been supporting the channel in my absence, which was not planned this time. We are going to talk today about complex PTSD and dissociation because it's what's impacted my ability to come and do my videos. And I want to give you not just what was happening for me, but also, as you can see, some key components to helping recognize when dissociation happens and why it's absolutely similar to abandonment trauma, and what part of the brain that we're working with now. Now, for those who have been with me for some time, you know I've done videos on dissociation. For those who are new here, welcome. And you can also see those videos by searching my channel and just put dissociation in, and there's actually a number of videos that come up about my journey with dissociation, starting from when I didn't even know I was dissociating, and what happened was I would be getting ready to exercise, and then I'd have a shoe and a sock on and I'd be in my lounge chair, and I would wake up and I would have just crashed, fallen asleep, didn't know why. It was very confusing. And another sign was I got to the end of 1 year and I looked back and I was like, why wasn't I able to achieve all the things that I wanted to achieve? So it was very puzzling in the beginning, and I couldn't understand why. I couldn't see what I needed to see. And that was because there were things happening. One, that when we've got childhood developmental trauma, they are normal. And then two, as I was healing my brain and I was becoming more well, so as the brain heals, it starts off at the outer areas, so to speak, the more well-known areas. And then as we're healing the brain, it begins to get down into the deeper areas. So I'm getting down into the deeper area where a part of the brain called the periodactyl grey. Now, it is left on. When we've suffered significant childhood developmental trauma, the experts know that the periodactyl grey is left on. So what happened for me was I was working with a business coach, and I told them I didn't need to go back to the past. There was nothing I needed to resolve or explore, that I was here now and I wanted to work in the here and now. And they did this brief meditation, which really hit me in the heart emotionally. Next thing you know, I was literally in a state of dissociation for around 4 weeks. It took for me to be able to work towards being able to get back to my routine. Now, a consistent routine helps us recognize when it's happening, because when we can't do our consistent routine, especially even just a consistent morning routine, we begin to go, what's happening? Why can't I do this? Now, dissociation is so powerful, it can, for want of a better word, literally distract us. So it can put us into fight, flight, freeze or fawn mode. And so we're in survival mode again, and we're operating at what I say to myself is just a functional level. So I'm able to do all the smaller things throughout my day. Not that they're small as in, actually small is not the right word. I'm able to do the things throughout my day that require just a normal process. So seeing clients, writing up homework books, things like that don't require a lot of executive functioning because it's my normal. But when it comes to writing the certification, where I do deeper research, putting things in a definite order, and insight, like forward planning insight and so much more, when it requires that aspect, and the dissociation's happening, then it makes it impossible to do those deeper areas in my day-to-day life. So I spent 4 weeks getting a lot of the ordinary day-to-day life things done and caught up with in that 4 weeks. Now, ever since then, I've been writing a dissociation module or core unit 4, the certification, and I've learnt more about complex PTSD and dissociation. So when we get triggered, we actually lose track of time. It's not something I've actually read about, but I just have been aware of in my own life, that we lose time. We don't get the amount of things done in the time frame that we think we should get things done. And that's not us thinking we should get them done. It's an awareness that I'm not able to fully be in my life, my daily life, and navigate all the order of my day that I want to, in order that I can do all the things that I want to do. So that was that 4 weeks. And then after that, I became aware that my motivation wasn't the same either. So as I fought my way back to being able to get back into my consistent routine, I was aware that I was struggling with motivation, which is not me in my normal everyday life, okay? And that's when I found out that fight, flight, freeze or fawn disrupts our motivation as well. So then I had to begin to look at each of these symptoms and work through, what can I do to help get out of this? For me, it's the fawn mode. So in fawn mode or collapse mode, literally when the brain is triggered, we just collapse. For me, I fall asleep instantly. And when we can build increasing awareness or sensitivity to what's happening in our brain, we can catch this a lot quicker. What happened was, with the lack of motivation, I was unable to get up first thing in the morning and do my exercise / movement routine. So what I began to do was say, okay, I don't have the motivation to do that, but I can start my work. And then I made a definite time when I had to put my work down, and I went and did exercise. Now, before I got to doing the exercise like that, I went about a week and a half where there was no motivation, and I just chose to spend that time building awareness of what was happening internally for my body. Now, when I say internally, everything became tighter and tighter and tighter and painful, incredibly painful. And I went, I can't go on like this. So my knees, I could barely bend, and my legs and my stomach area, they were all becoming tighter and painful, and I was getting quite worried. So I went, okay, so fight, flight, freeze and fawn, no motivation. That's when I changed up what time I was doing things, and I also changed up what exercise I was doing. So I have a treadmill at home. Now, one of the things that I've discovered with having the treadmill is that I walk slowly and I'm conscious of my breathing and keep breathing in and out, making sure I'm in the here and now. And what I became aware of was the heart rate. My heart rate didn't increase when dissociation was happening internally. So I may not have felt like I was dissociated, but I began to develop, right, my heart rate's going nowhere for 20 minutes at a time, so I'm still in a state of dissociation. So what I did then was, first time in my life I've ever had a pool at home, and it's summer here, and it finally got hot enough to swim. So what I do is I go in the pool and do an exercise up and down the pool, moving my arms and then each leg up and down, and focusing on my breathing, keeping centered. And what happened was, because I was in so much pain internally, so when I say that, it's not as though I can touch my legs or my stomach and feel that I'm tight on the outside. It's an internal felt sense of how tight I am. And what happened was, because I walked slowly on the treadmill and only went as fast as the heartbeat was going, so I make sure that my heart rate doesn't go down. So I found that my heart rate goes down if I try and move too quickly. So I set a pace. But because I was in so much pain physically, when I got in the pool, it began to alleviate that pain. So I could still move my body, but the pain, over about 4 days, I became aware of that pain lessening. Now, if you've watched my depression videos, you know that I became aware that there's a part of the brain, which scientists haven't released what part it is, it's deep in the brain, that when they trigger it, when they zap it with something, they haven't said what, they have helped people who are corporate executives who exercise well, who eat well, who have a routine and are functioning, but they couldn't get rid of depression. When they zap that part of the brain, these people have alleviation from depression. So these are neuroscientists, and I'll try and remember to put the video down below where I found the information. So I went, okay, if depression is a trigger in the brain, then I have to keep and be aware of when that trigger goes off. Now, this morning was the first time so I've woken up and known the depression trigger's gone off because I feel different. But this morning was the first time I woke up and there was no reason for a depression trigger to go off at all. And I got a real sense of actual depression. So I didn't just feel the trigger had gone off in my brain. I could feel that depression. I went, oh my goodness, I've got a full morning of clients. I can't do this. Because remember, it's hooked into the fight, flight, freeze or fawn. Mine's fawn, so it knocks me out. So I went, okay, I have to be able to manage this. So what I did was, in between clients, I made sure I rested. Okay, and here I am. I've seen clients all morning and I'm fully functioning now. So what it shows me is we have to be willing to not only step into the awareness of what's happening, what our brain's driving, but we also have to be willing to slow down and go, I know that my brain needs time to get off this trigger, and I need to give my brain that time. Plus, I need to know that that depressed feeling is not me. It's not who I am. There was no obvious reason for it. So what I'm going to do is get up and be happy and, joy. And I love my job. I absolutely love my job. But I know I can't fight the power of the brain. I know the brain wants to shut down from whatever happened in my dreams maybe. And so what I want to do is honor that process too. So now that I've done all that, and I'll try and put this meme on the YouTube community, on the Instagram page, everywhere, so that you can look at the list of possible symptoms and you can begin to say to yourself, is this happening for me? Am I feeling overwhelmed and disconnected? Can I look back and see that I haven't been able to do the things in the time that I had allocated, and I wanted to get this done? And some of the people that I spoke to this morning are saying these exactly the same things, that I'm not able to get done what I want to do and live my best life. I know I'm capable of doing more. So for those who are interested in learning trauma-informed movement, because it changes my life daily, heals my brain, you can go to the Thriver membership, and it'll either be in a link below or on Instagram. It's the link in my bio. and go to the developmental trauma and learn and understand what's happening in your brain, and then do the trauma-informed movement and begin to reconnect the brain. Because if we don't do this, our brain can't begin to heal. Because I use it with myself and my clients, and I'm still doing it. And it's now gotten down to, I know, into this deep space because I'm aware of when that deep space trigger goes off. So it is a bit of a journey, and it does take consistent effort, but it's part of my morning routine, or today it's part of my lunchtime routine. And I know now that if I consistently work with doing this, then I become more well, and I become able to do even more of the work that I love. Thank you for being with us. If you love the video, like and subscribe. And honestly, we can become well when we use the neuroscience as well. Okay, all my love, and take care, and I'll see you next video. Bye for now.